Mr. Beetle wanted to continue with the science lessons, so after the class had cleaned up the vegetable garden, they went back to the classroom. Rachel and Kirsty were given a dried-up bean to look at through their magnifying glass. Draw a picture of everything you can see through the magnifying glass, Mr. Beetle told the class. Kirsty and Rachel peered at the shriveled bean through the glass. "That's strange," said Kirsty. "It should look bigger through the magnifying glass, but it looks smaller." "Same here," said Ellie, who was trying to draw a squashed radish. "I can hardly see a thing." "There's something wrong with the magnifying glasses," said Adam, giving his a shake. "They don't seem to be having any trouble," said Amina, looking at the disguised goblins. The first goblin was using his magnifying glass to look into the second goblin's ear. "Yuck, it's all hairy and waxy," he groaned, sticking out his tongue. The other goblin grabbed the magnifying glass and peered up the first goblin's nose. "Well, this makes your nose look even bigger than usual," he said, "and it's full of poodles." "Keep the noise down, please," said Mr. Beetle. The goblins paid no attention, and Kirsty frowned. "Why is their magnifying glass the only one that's working properly?" she whispered. "Amina, could you please water the plants on the windowsill?" asked Mr. Beetle. "They're all drooping." Amina filled the watering can and carried it towards the plants, but the water started to drip from the bottom. It was leaking. The carpet was soaked, and so were Amina's shoes. "Never mind," said Mr. Beetle. "We have an extra pair of shoes here, and I will find a spare watering can at lunchtime. Now everyone take the ruler and measure one of the plants. We are going to keep a record of how much they grow this year, starting today." Rachel and Kirsty thought that sounded like fun. They picked up their rulers and went to measure the plants. "This can't be right," said Rachel. "My ruler says that this plant is 4 feet tall. My ruler says that this one is 1/4 of an inch tall," said Kirsty, examining the ruler. "Rachel, look, all the numbers are jumbled up." "Mine too," said Rachel. "I can't measure anything with this." All the rulers that Mr. Beetle had given out were the same. No one could measure the plants, and Mr. Beetle had to give up and move on to the next part of the lesson. He looked really disappointed. "Rachel and Kirsty, could you please get the plastic plant pots from the cabinet outside the room?" he asked. Feeling very sorry for their new teacher, the girls hurried out of the classroom. "Poor Mr. Beetle," said Kirsty. "Nothing seems to be going right for him today, does it?" Rachel bent down to open the cabinet and then tumbled backwards as a tiny fairy fluttered out. She was wearing a cute denim dress and a purple t-shirt with an orange bow at the neck. Her long auburn hair was swept up in a half ponytail, and she had a pair of cool dark rimmed glasses. "Hello, girls," she said. "I'm Marissa, the science fairy, and I've come to ask for your help. There's a big problem at the fairy school. Will you come to Fairyland with me?" "Right now?" asked Rachel. Marissa nodded eagerly, and the girls grinned. "We love to," said Kirsty, after a quick glance down the hall to check that no one was coming. Marissa made a figure-8 shape with her wand. 2 golden rings thus appeared in the air and gently landed on the girls' heads like tiny tiaras. Instantly, the school hallway disappeared, and they found themselves standing in a rainbow-colored room. They had been transformed into fairies, and they unfurled into beautiful wings in delight. "Welcome to the Fairyland stool," said a familiar voice behind them. The dolls whirled around and saw Charlie the Stool Fairy smiling at them. "It's fantastic to see you again, Charlie," said Kirsty, hurrying to give her a hug. They hadn't seen Charlie in a while. She was standing with a small group of fairies whom the dolls had never met. Marissa took Rachel's hand and led her towards the other fairies. "These are the school day fairies," she said. "Allison the art fairy, Lydia the reading fairy, and Catherine the gym fairy. We've noticed that things are going wrong." "What kind of things?" asked Kirsty. "Well, in my science class, all the plants have died," said Marissa. "The paint colors have gotten all mixed up in art class," said Allison. "Everything is a horrible sludgy brown color." "The words have disappeared from all the books," said Lydia. "And all the young fairies are flying backwards in gym," said Catherine. "And we really need your help."